गुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा गदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। हे कृष्ण कर्ण सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रियै। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So anyone in this class who has not chanted the invocation mantra Om Purnamada Purnamidam, I'm just going to mute everyone, okay? If you have not chanted even once, you can raise your hand now that you have memorized. Yes, Uma Mataji, Hare Krishna, you can unmute.
Sorry. Hare Krishna Mataji. Om
Hare
Purnamadam.
Krishna.
Om Purnamidam. Om Purnat Purnamudhyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya. Purnamevavashishyate.
Very nice. It's Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate.
Uchyate.
Udachyate.
Dachyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya. Purnamevavashishyate.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Padmaja Mataji, very nice. Quickly.
ओम पूर्णमदा पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate. Udachyate.
उद्यच्छते. ओके मैम.
Say ud. Say ud.
उद
Achyate.
अच्छते.
Now combine the two. Udachyate.
पूर्ण उद्यच्छते.
Udachyate. Purnamada Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate. Anyway, very nice. Doesn't matter. Okay.
Okay. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Okay, Roja Mataji and Guru Murthy Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate.
Nice, thank you. Guru Murthy Natarajan Prabhu.
Om Purnamada Purnam Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate.
Very nice, thank you very much. Okay, then we studied Ishavashyamidam Sarvam, invocation, the Isopnishad Mantra 1. Then last time we studied further that how everything belongs to Krishna and how Krishna is the proprietor. What were the elements shared last week? Let me see. Mantra 2. One may aspire to live for thousands of years if he continuously goes on working in that way. For that sort of work will not bind him to the law of karma. There is no alternative to this way for man. Yeah, so one may go on living for thousands of years if one is living with the Ishavasya principle that everything belongs to Krishna. 2 and 3 are connected. Generally, 2 and 3 are done combined, but I'm doing baby steps here. Okay, so Isopnishad Mantra 3. Does anyone know which deity is this? You can raise your hand or you can write to me in the chat. Which deity is this? Swati Mataji, yes. Which deity is this?
Bake Bihari Lal.
No. Thank you though. And someone is saying Dwarkadish. No, that's not correct too. So this is Radha Raman, Gopal Bhatt Goswami in Vrindavan. Radha Raman. The Radha Raman manifested himself from the Shaligram Shila. So his name is Radha Raman. And the worshipper, the Goswami who worshipped this deity was Gopal Bhatt Goswami. Let's pay our obeisances to Shri Shri Radha Govinda, for whose mercy, without their mercy, we can't do anything. Okay, Isopnishad Mantra 3. Asurya namate loka andhena tamasa vritaha tamaste pretyabhigachanti yeke cha atma hano janaha. Asurya namate loka andhena Tamasavritah tamaste pretyabhigachanti ye ke chatma hano janaha. Okay, if someone wants to recite, you can raise your hand quickly. Let's learn who's the killer of the soul. Yes, Uma Kanan Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी.
Hare Krishna.
असूर्या नामाते लोका अंधेन तमासा वृतः तमस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति ये के चात्मा हनो जना. हरे
Thank
कृष्ण
you.
माताजी.
Hare Krishna. Okay, Hemlata Mataji.
असुर्यानाम ते लोका अन्धेन तमसाव्रताः तमस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति ये के सात्महनो जनाः.
Hanojan. Okay, very nice, Mataji. Jigna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी. असूर्या नमते लोक अंधेन तमस्फुरतः तमस्ते प्रीत्या विगच्छन्ति ये के चत्माहनो जनः.
Thank you very much. Smita Mataji.
असूर्या नाम ते लोक अंधेन तमसावृता तमस्ते प्रत्यभञ्जन्ति ये के चत्माहनो जना.
Thank you, Mataji. Gayatri Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी.
Hare Krishna.
सूर्य नाम ते लोका अंधेन तमसा वृताः तमस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति एके चात्मनो जनाः.
Thank you, Mataji. Kirti Mataji.
Yes,
Hello?
can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Asurya namate loka andhena tamasavrita tamste pretya pikanjanti yeke chatmahano jana.
Thank you, Mataji. Sant Kumar Prabhu.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी.
Hare Krishna.
सूर्या नाम ते लोक अंधेन तमसव्रतः तमस्ते ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति ये के चात्महनो जनः.
Thank you, Prabhu. Priyadarshini Mataji.
नमस्ते माताजी. सूर्या नाम ते लोका अंधेन तमसावृता तामसते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति ये के चात्महनो जनाः.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Indira, Dr. Indira Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी.
Hare Krishna.
असूर्या नाम ते लोका अंधेन तमाश्रुत तमस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति एके चात्महनो जनाः.
Thank you, Mataji. Ratish iPad. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
I came little late, sorry. Asurya namate loka andene tamasavratha tamse te pretya bhikachanti eke chatmahano janah.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. Sharmila Mataji. Hari Bol.
Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Asurya namate loka andena tamasavritaha tamste pretyabhigachanti eke chatmahano janaha.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. Guru Murti Natarajan Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण. असूर्य नामा ते लोका अंधेन तमसावृता तमस्ते प्रत्यभिगच्छन्ति एके चात्मा हनो जना.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Okay, let's see the translation. The killer of the soul. Well, we just studied in second chapter Bhagavad Gita, the soul cannot be killed. But the killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. Okay, so the killer of the soul, who is not living by the principles of Ishavasya knowledge, and who is trying to enjoy independent of Krishna, that is the killer of the soul. Whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. Okay, so Prabhupada starts the purport by explaining that human life means responsible life. Animal life means irresponsible life. There's a lot of responsibility which comes, heavy responsibility. Okay, it's a juncture. We can go up or we can go down or stay the same. Now really we have a choice. We recognize or we don't recognize, that is up to us, but the choice is there. There are two types of human beings which are described in this verse. One are called suras, or godly persons. What is the definition? They're cognizant of these responsibilities, that I'm supposed to lift myself up from this material existence, and who work in that spirit. So action speaks louder than words, right? They work. They just don't talk about it. They work about it. They do something. Their whole life is formed and is based on the principle that yes, I am here, but how can I use this place to spiritualize my existence? And then there's another class of human beings, asuras, human beings. Okay, we are not even talking about demigods and demons. Human beings are of two types explained. What is a demonic mentality? Who are neglectful of these responsibilities or who have no information of them. So I found it very fascinating. Okay, neglectful of these responsibilities. Okay, that means that they know, but they just don't want to act about it. No, they know that there's Bhagavad Gita in the house, there is a temple in the house, but they hardly care to go there. But they know, right? And there's another class have no information about it. One may say that, oh, I did not know that I'm supposed to do it, but that does not exclude them from the category of being an asura. It is very interesting. That does not exclude that you did not have any information about it. We are supposed to have an information about it. We are supposed to, right? It's supposed to have information that I am supposed to know because I am a human being. And if I don't know about it, I am not counted as an innocent person. According to Isopnishad, I am counted as a asura, demon. Okay, so we see so many people, 19 years I'm preaching. I see so many people, oh, we don't know about it. Oh, I never knew. Okay, now you know. Now how is it going to change your life? And we say, okay, I am there, you are there. There's one pastime in Damodar Leela. Damodar Leela, there's Manigriva and Nalakuvera. Manigriva and Nalakuvera are the two sons of Kuvera. Okay, now they are, because they're sons of Kuvera, so they are like very much proud of the wealth that the Kuvera is the finance officer of the demigod. So he takes care of all the finances. So they are naturally very rich father's children. And in Damodar Leela, so what happens is that they are intoxicated and not properly dressed. And then they are in the Ganges, in Lord Shiva's place. And they are drinking intoxicants and are enjoying with women. So Narad Muni passes by. And Narad Muni passes by. So the women are very hastily, covering their bodies. But this person, Nani Kuvera and Manigriva, are very intoxicated and they don't even acknowledge. There is this sannyasi called his name is Radha Govind Maharaj. So he gives class in Hindi. So I was listening to his lecture. He said, I don't know if you all understand Hindi. He said, okay, the Kuveras are demigods, right? They're supposed to be responsible. But what did they do? They did not even pay their obeisances to Narad Muni. What did they do? They thought, okay, you are a sannyasi. Your business is to preach. That is your business. You're a sannyasi. Your business is to go and carry out your duties. We are young men. We are doing our business. Why are you coming in our way? So that immediately made them an asuric mentality. That what do you mean business? What do you mean? There's only one business of a human being, and that is that I want to know who am I really, spiritually. So there is a beautiful analogy given in this verse. The material world where we are in is compared to an ocean. The human body is compared to a solid boat designed to cross the ocean. Vedic scriptures and acharyas or saintly teachers are expert boatmen. And the facilities of the human body is compared to the favorable breeze that help the boat ply smoothly to its desired destination. So I made further slides. So material world is compared to a ocean, and human body is compared to a strong boat which can cross over this ocean. Okay, and Vedic scriptures, acharya, saintly people are compared to the expert boatmen, and facilities of human body are compared to the favorable breeze. So acharyas are compared to the boatmen, human body is compared to the favorable breeze that can help one ply the boat to its desired destination. We have all these things. We just don't know. Once I was listening about lamentation. One devotee was giving class about lamentation. So mind has two qualities. One is hankering, one is lamentation. Want something and then it is regretting about something. Both things are going on. Hankering, lamentation, bhoga tyaga, bhoga tyaga, bhoga tyaga. It is a principle of the mind. So he brought out a very important point that actually it made me think. We have more that we can be eternally grateful for every day. But the nature of the mind is such that it only focuses on the things that we don't have. So we hanker about it and then we lament that what we lost. So that is not what Krishna consciousness is about. Krishna consciousness is about that I belong to Krishna. Mind is also not mine. Okay, so mind becomes inferior. So these things are given to us. You see, these all things are given to us. We are given a human body. We are in the material world, which is the ocean. We are given a human body. We are given the scriptures, the acharyas, the way, and the saintly people around us, which are compared to the expert boatmen. They can lift us up. We are given the facilities of the human body, right? We have the eyes, we have intelligence that we can read. We have tongue that we can chant Hare Krishna. The tongue of a dog cannot chant Hare Krishna. The tongue is there. It cannot chant Hare Krishna. Cat cannot chant Hare Krishna. Human being has been given this facility. Okay, so we just don't realize. We find one reason or the other to lament. Then where do we go in the next life? So far we discussed that there are two type of human beings, Sura and Asura, human beings. And then we discussed that what is a human being means human life means a heavy responsibility, very responsible life. And then we are given the facilities, and we are at the juncture whether I want to go up or whether I want to go down or whether I want to maintain where I am. It is my responsibility. It is not my neighbor's responsibility. So in 6th chapter Bhagavad Gita, verse 41 to 43, Krishna says, a man who enters upon the path of self-realization just enters, but does not complete the process, despite having sincerely tried to realize his relationship with God, is given a chance to appear in the family of a Suchi or Shrimat, a rich family or a pious family. Right? It is the destination of a person who just enters the path of realization and not has even completed. So think about the destination of a person who has completed the path also. Then that so much, right? So much privilege is given. Here, Krishna is so merciful that somebody comes to Krishna, but then goes back, comes and then goes back. One psychologist talks about Laurie Gottlieb. So she talks about relationship as a dance step, So I do my dance step, and the other person, or I have a relation like my children, or anybody, what are neighbors, country, they do their dance steps. So Krishna is doing his dance steps of coming, come to me, come to me, come to me. I have given you human body, I have given you the intelligence, I have given you the acharyas, I have given you favorable conditions. Come to me, come to me, come to me. That is his step. Okay, now our step is coming, but going. Coming, but going. So, Prabhupada was in Canada. There was one caricature in the newspaper. Actually, they only printed it. So there was this old man and old lady sitting on a bench in a park. And the wife is telling the husband, chant, chant, and chant. And the husband is telling, can't. So what is the problem? And my Guru Maharaj gives example. This is also Prabhupada's example. Let's say that this regular household work, what goes on inside a house. This wife is cooking. Okay. She's cooking. And the husband is sitting in the other room and he's hard of hearing. This is Prabhupada's example. And the wife says, the husband asks, when will the food be ready? I am hungry. And the wife, you know how she says, be quiet, read your newspaper, drink your tea. Whenever it is ready, I will bring it. So the husband does not hear anything. So he asks again, when will the food be ready? I am hungry. And the wife says, yeah, 1 hour, it will be ready. Be quiet. Let me do my work. And the husband again says, when will the food be ready? And the wife thinks, my husband is not hearing me or what? And the husband thinks, my wife is not hearing me or what? So they both are thinking Like that, our situation is that Krishna, when will you get me? Krishna says, here you go. Come on. Chant Hare Krishna and come to me. Krishna, when will you get me? So what is your dance step in this relationship? What is your dance step? So some of us go, and then okay, Krishna, back, go. It's like a car. You're driving, you're reversing, and then you're going in the front, and you reverse and you front. So when are you gonna put it on the road and drive around? So this is what Krishna consciousness is. And Prabhupada gives another example. So let's say in a village, there is a flood. Okay, so this person, the water has come to the first floor of the house. So the neighbors come and say that, okay, empty the house. We have to run away. The flood is coming. And the person says, I am dependent on Krishna. Krishna will save me. Okay, then they leave. Okay, now the water goes higher, second floor, and again, now the message comes from still somebody can come through the window. The fireman comes, let's say, and says, "Come out! We have to go out. There's a boat out waiting for you. Come on." Person says, "You go, you carry on. I am dependent on Krishna. Krishna will save me." Okay, now the water comes up to the rooftop. Now the helicopter comes. Okay, a helicopter comes and throws a ladder down and says, come on, you leave this, it's flooding. And the person says, you go, you go, Krishna will save me, you go. And then what happens? This person dies and then goes to Krishna, and then person says, ask Krishna, Krishna, why you didn't save me? Like I was so long like saying, why you didn't save me? So we cannot do like this. Krishna said, I send you so many saviors. You are not catching the rope. You are the one. So it is not that Krishna has not given us the facility. We are doing this dance step analogy helps me a lot. That Krishna is saying, come. And I'm saying, coming, but going. So don't do that, okay? And then there's another, where are we going to the next slide? So one is that person who starts but who fails, doesn't complete. Not fails, but does not complete. But there is another class of person who fails to discharge his duty. Does not do. Then they go to the Asurya planets where there is no sunlight. And then those who do not make an attempt, covered by illusion and attached to material enjoyment. This is from 5th Canto Srimad Bhagavatam, this photo. These all hellish planets are described in the 5th Canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then there's this verse in chapter 16th verse. Thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into the hell. So no attempt only. No attempt. In psychology, again, this Laurie Gottlieb, she said, these people are called as help-rejecting complainers. We are help-rejecting complainers. If actually we think, each one of us, why are we not going to Krishna? Why are we not becoming Krishna conscious? Because we are help-rejecting complainers. We just know how to complain. We do not know how to act. Now is the time to act, because I know that I can secure my presence and I can secure, I need it. Krishna is Krishna. I need it. And now this is the definition of killer of the soul, the last part of the chapter. Atma Sambhavita. If with all these facilities a human being does not fully utilize his life for self-realization, he must be considered Atmaha, a killer of the soul. Very strong word. Sri Isopanishad warns us in clear terms that the killer of the soul is destined to enter into darkest region of ignorance to suffer perpetually. I don't want to take a chance. Somebody may say, I don't believe it. Then that's good luck. But I don't want to take a chance, because Isopanishad is clearly saying that don't kill your soul. Or what does you mean by don't kill your soul? It means that don't deprive the soul of what it really needs. Right? We say people who are starving, who are like voluntarily starving, we tell them, don't kill yourself. Your body needs food. Eat. What is the problem? Eat. Like that, we are starving our soul. We starve our soul because soul needs Krishna. And we say, okay, you can be happy this way, that way, this way. No. It needs Krishna. So the modern soul-killing civilization has only increased the problems of hungry stomach. This is Prabhupada's words. The laws of nature are so cruel, however, that despite his denunciation of the need for self-realization, and eagerness to work hard to fill his stomach, he's always threatened by unemployment. Okay, so we are always like threatened. There's always a threat that I may, whatever I may lose it at any time. So what the conclusion is, what is the importance of human life? Athata Brahma Jigyasa. Now inquire about the self. We are given this human form of life not to work hard like asses, swines, and dogs, but to attain to the highest perfection of life. So you see, if somebody is in a very respectful post, and then they come to preach Krishna consciousness, people around them get suspicious. They do get suspicious that how come you have so much time? How come you have so much time? Aren't you supposed to be busy because you are this or this or this or this? How come you have so much time? But they don't know that time is a relative factor. Time is not something which is clock is ticking. My Guru Maharaj was explaining this today. Time is relative. If you are engaged in Krishna's service, then time is very less. We don't have time, but we somehow have to do it because that's the goal of life. Other things, that upadhi, this upadhi is a need of the body. That's not the need of the soul. That doesn't make me. It's not permanent also. So Srila Prabhupada says, Athata Brahma Jigyasa. Every activity of the human being is to be considered a failure. Every activity. Unless he inquires about the nature of the absolute. Therefore, those who begin to question why they are suffering, or where they are coming, where they came from, or where they shall go after death, are proper students for understanding Bhagavad Gita. Okay, then I have questions which we'll take after we read the chapter. So let's read. It's a small chapter. Okay, who has not spoken anything yet can please raise your hand and then we can have you read. Bimla Mataji, Hare Krishna. Mataji, Bimla Mataji, did you memorize the first verse? I remember last time. You were having
Yes,
issues.
I do.
Okay, why don't you tell me?
Okay. Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnamadas Udyasate Purnasya Purnavidhaya Purname Eva Vasistate.
Very nice. You're getting there. Amazing. Okay, let's go. Asurya namate loka andhena tamasa vritaha tamste pratyabhigachanti yeke chatma hano janaha. Okay, Mataji, start from translation.
I start from the killer.
The killer of the soul.
Okay, the killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. Purport. A human life is distinguished from animal life on account of its heavy responsibilities. Those who are cognizant of these responsibilities and work in that spirit are called suras, the godly. And those who are either neglectful of the responsibilities and who have no information about them are called the asuras or demons. There are only two kinds of human beings all over the universe. In the Rig Veda, it is stated that the suras always aim at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Vishnu and act accordingly. Their ways are as illuminated as the path of the sun. Intelligent human beings must always remember that this particular form of the body is obtained after an evolution of many millions of years of transmigration of the soul. This material world is sometimes compared with an ocean, and this human body is compared with a solid boat designed to cross over the ocean. The Vedic scriptures and the acharyas or the saintly teachers are compared with expert boatmen, and the facilities of the human body is compared with favorable breezes, which can help the boat smoothly ply to the desired destination. If with all these facilities, a person does not fully utilize his human life for self-realization, such an asura must be considered Atmahana, a killer of the soul. The killer of the soul is destined to enter into the darkest region of ignorance to suffer perpetually. And here is a warning by Shri Upanishad in clear terms.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Let's take a
Thank
break.
you.
So, so heavy responsibility. If you have a human body and you recognize yourself as a human being, then there is a heavy responsibility. And what is the responsibility? What is the responsibility? What does Prabhupada mean when he says human life means life of responsibility? Means what? Yes, Kirti Mataji, you want to tell me?
Hare Krishna, yes. Is it that you have to try and find out why you're here in this world, why you're suffering, and
Correct. Very nice. Correct. So responsibility of knowing who you are, knowledge of the self. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, the other thing that we've heard here was, one second. There are two classes of people, Sura and Asura, all over the world. Prabhupada is making there are only two kinds of human beings all over the universe, all over. Sura and Asura. Sura is a person who is aware of the responsibility and is executing those responsibilities. And Asura is a person who is either have no information or has the information but just doesn't want to act on it. Too lazy. Okay, so we have to remember that we are in this human form of body, although it is very, very temporary, but it offers us a lot of facility to get freedom from miseries perpetually, completely, 100%. So I'm going to ask this question then. Material world is compared to, I'm going to just lower all the hands because I want to know. Material world is compared to what in this particular verse? Yes, Simbi Mataji.
It's compared to an ocean, Mataji.
Very nice, thank you. Okay, the human body is compared to, yes, Meenakshi Mataji. Yes, you can write to me in the
Boat.
chat.
Boat, Mataji, a solid boat.
Very nice. Okay, Vedic literature and acharyas and saintly people are compared to, yes, Sudha Mataji.
Expert boatman.
Very nice, thank you, Mataji. And the facilities of a human life are compared to Krishna. Neetu Mataji. Facilities of the human life are compared to
Favorable breeze.
very nice. To ply the boat to its destination. Very nice. Okay, so remember this. When you look at yourself now from on every morning, says, "Oh, I have a very nice boat to cross over this ocean with the help of expert boatmen." And what a breezy environment is there around me because I can chant Hare Krishna. And if someone is not doing it, then they are called as. If somebody is not doing this, then they are called as what? If somebody is not utilizing, don't tell me Asura. Yes, they are Asura, but something else too. Yes, Reshma Mataji. What are they called as?
They call Atmaha, a killer of the soul.
Atmahana. Yes, killer of the soul. Very nice. Killer of the soul. Atma Hatya is killer of the body, right? Atmahana is killer of the soul. Very strong word. Okay, we can go ahead. Who would like to read? You can raise your hand. Tanvi Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. There are swine, dogs, camels, asses, etc., whose economic necessities are just as important as ours. But the economic problems of these animals are solved under nasty conditions. While the human being is given all facilities for comfortable life by the laws of nature, because the human form of life is more important than animal life. And why is man given a better life than the swine and other animals? Why is a highly placed servant given all the facilities of comfortable life rather than an ordinary clerk? The answer is that the highly placed officer has to discharge duties of a higher nature. Similarly, the human being has higher duties in life than the animals who are engaged always in the business of feeding their hungry stomachs. The modern soul-killing civilization has only increased the problems of a hungry stomach. We approach some polished animal, a modern civilized man, and he says that he wants to work for the satisfaction of the stomach and there is no necessity for self realization. But the laws of nature are so cruel that, in spite of his eagerness to work hard for his stomach, there is always the question of unemployment even after denouncing the prospect of self realization.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. See, so important that Prabhupada is calling this civilization as a soul killing civilization. Modern soul killing civilization. There's a song like this. Bhaktivinoda Thakur Prabhupada sings that Jada Vidya, Maya Arjal. This Jada Vidya, the educational system that is prevalent right now is very, very intricating. It doesn't give us ultimate happiness. It actually makes one proud. Somebody who is very educated materially, they are very, very proud of their education. The pride may be exhibited by like obvious behavior, that yes, I am superior and you are inferior, or it may also be exhibited by their humanitarian work. I did not know that. See, I did not know. Even when they say, okay, I am so educated and I have an ability to help this person, I am automatically placing myself higher than the other person, and that is coming from false ego. So detachment is also another kind of attachment. We think that that person is so nice, that person is so pious, that person has such a magnanimous heart, but the Shastra says, unless and until that activity is done for the satisfaction of Krishna, that is just another expression of one's own pride. This is another expression. That person is not humble. That person is proud. The pride is just exhibited in a different manner. Unless and until we do it for Krishna, we are not humble. We are just satisfying or filling our stomach, or the stomach in the body, or feeding our false ego with a different type of a illusion. But Krishna consciousness is not like that. Krishna consciousness does not give us any shaky ground. Krishna consciousness teaches us that Krishna will take care of me under any situation. There is no situation which is out of Krishna's control, because Krishna is everything. Okay, we can go on. We are given, yes, Neha Mataji.
We are given this human form of life not to work hard like the ass, the swine, and the dog, but to attain the highest perfection of life. If we do not care for self realization, it is by the law of nature that we have to work very hard, even though we do not want to do so. In this age, the human being has been forced to work hard like the ass and the bull, pulling carts. These are some of the examples of the regions where an asura is sent to work, revealed by this verse of Sri Ishopanishad. If a man fails to discharge his duties as a human being, he is forced to transmigrate to the planets called Asurya in the degraded species of life, to work hard in ignorance and darkness. In the Bhagavad Gita, okay.
No, go ahead, Mataji. In Bhagavad Gita.
Okay. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also stated that the half self-realized men who in their previous lives could not complete the process of approaching Godhead, but had sincerely tried for it. In other words, those who failed to attain success in realizing their relation with God are given the chance of appearing in the family of Shuchi or Srimata. Shuchi means a spiritually advanced Brahmana, and Srimata means Vaishya or member of the mercantile community. This means that such fallen candidates are given a better chance for culturing self-realization on account of their sincere efforts in past lives. If the fallen candidates are given the chance of taking birth in respectable noble families, we can hardly imagine the state of those who have completely achieved success in the attempt.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nicely read.
Thank you.
So again, Prabhupada is reminding that human form of life is for highest perfection. That does not mean that we run away from our responsibilities. It does not mean that we do our responsibility, but that is not the goal of life. The goal of life is something else. You see, let's say, for example, somebody is traveling to go to a particular destination. Well, traveling is a part of going to the destination. but traveling itself is not the destination. Like that, okay, I'm doing this part because conditionally I have some duties, but constitutionally that is my goal. There's a difference between conditional life and constitutional life. There's a difference because we are in the dual environment. We are in the dual environment because I'm not the body, I'm the soul, but I am in the body and I think I'm the body. Everything is upside down. Right? Urdhva Moolam Adho Shakham Ashwatam Prahuravyayam. I was thinking when I was making these slides and reading this chapter that what is the difference between an Asurya planet and a hellish planet? So Prabhupada made it clear now. If a man fails to discharge his duty as a human being, he is forced to transmigrate to the planets called Asurya, in the degraded species of life, to work hard in ignorance and darkness. So probably means that animalistic life, where we are degraded to that life, and animal has to work very hard to get their food. It's not served to them. Even a tiger has to go out and hunt, even though it could be, or lion could be the king of the jungle, but it still has to go out and hunt for its food. So that is a person who's not even doing his duties. Person who started doing his duty but is not complete, did not complete it, then they are given another chance of Suchi or Shrimata. Okay, so who else wants to? Usha Mataji, please go ahead. Simply to make an attempt.
Simply to make an attempt for realizing God is to guarantee that the next birth will not be in a noble family.
Will be,
But
will
those
be, will be. There is no not.
will be in a noble family. But those who do not make any such attempt at all and who want to be covered by illusion, too materialistic and attached to material enjoyment, must enter into the darkest region of hell, as is confirmed in all the Vedic literature. Such materialistic asuras sometimes make a show of religiousness with the ultimate aim of material prosperity. The Bhagavad Gita, however, rebukes them as men called great on the strength of false perfection, empowered by the votes of the ignorant and by material wealth. Such asuras, devoid of realization and the conception of Ishavasya, the Lord, are sure to enter into the darkest region. The conclusion is that we are not meant only for solving economic problems on a tottering platform, but we are also meant for solving the problems of the material life into which we have been placed by the conditions of nature.
Very nice. Let's understand. Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. So, such materialistic asuras sometimes make a show of religiousness with the ultimate aim of material prosperity. The Bhagavad Gita, however, rebukes them as men called great on the strength of false perfection, empowered by votes of ignorance and by material wealth. Such asuras devoid of self-realization and the conception of Ishavasya, the Lord, are sure to enter the kingdom of darkest regions. Like politicians in today's world, right? They are elected not based on their quality of work. They are elected based on the power of power by their misdeeds, how much trouble they can cause in someone's life if they don't get the vote from them, and also power from the money they have. But they make a show. They make a show. If they win, they go to the temple, they pay their obeisances, but that's a show only. That doesn't lead to any good for themselves or for anyone else. Okay, so I have some questions. Let's see. So I'm just going to lower all the hands right now so people can ask the questions. Krishna. Okay. Oh, I didn't make animation. Give the English meaning of the word Atmaha. Yes, who will tell me? English meaning of the word. Who has not answered today at all? You can type also. Namacharya. Yes, what is the English meaning of the word Atmaha? Om Namacharya. Yes. Please unmute yourself, Namacharya.
Okay, Hare Krishna Mataji. Killer of the soul.
Yes. Killer of the soul. So who is the killer of the soul? Go a little more detail. Who is the killer of the soul?
The person who does not follow the Ishavasya principle and who neglects the purpose of the soul, who neglects the duty of the soul.
That's one category, yes. And then there's another category, is that person who has no information about it at all.
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Okay,
you,
define the
Mataji.
words. Hare Krishna. Sura and Asura. Define the word Sura. What is the meaning of the word Sura? People who have raised their hands have spoken at some point or the other. So, Smita Mataji, you didn't talk, right? Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. Sura means those who are aware of responsibility and knows how to execute them. While the Asuras or Atman are killer of soul.
Killer of the soul. Yes.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you. Meenakshi Mataji, yes. What is your input?
So Mataji, suras are kind of godly persons, like, you know, they work in they work towards self-realization. They work as per the Vedas and execute. And asuras are who neglect their responsibilities, don't act according to the responsibilities, and they are covered with illusion, and still they want to stay in that illusion. Either they don't want to come out, or they are not aware.
Correct. They are aware, but they don't want to do it, or they are not aware only. Thank you. Very nice understanding. Chigna Mataji, you can also say. And then I have a small video to show. Yes. Sura and Asura.
No, Mataji, actually by mistake it happened. So, according to me, Asura are demon. That's what I understood.
Demon means big hair or teeth coming out and big nails, or what demon? What is so demoniac about them?
Demon matlab, I feel that the person, that's what you expressed it, and those who kill people and matlab, demon, I don't know how to explain, but
well, we read the whole chapter.
No, Mataji. Actually, I was unable to because I'm at my parents' place and lots of work, so I'm unable to do because they are very old.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. So, according to this chapter, demon is a person who has no knowledge about the functionality of the soul, or who does not, or who knows about it but also does not want to act on it. Okay, so it's a type of a human being. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Anju Mohan Mataji. Then I want to show one video and then we'll take questions.
Yeah. Mataji, can I just, define it in my own way? Suras and Asuras.
If it fits with your,
that's what I want to know.
Of Nishad.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm your examiner.
Human beings who use their abilities for upliftment of others and following dharma are suras, and those who use their abilities to play power games or harm others are asuras.
Well, before they go to others, they have to act on themselves. Your definition is correct, but it has to be who use their abilities to lift themselves up spiritually.
Okay.
And then, or who degrade themselves, then they are asuras. Okay, because we only do something to others what we do to ourselves.
Right.
Okay, it's an expansion. World around me is an expansion of myself. It's nothing else.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Okay, let's see this video that Srila Prabhupada's appearance was, how Prabhupada's appearance was predicted in Brahma Vivarta Puran. I shared this video with my all Pandav Sena team.
In the Brahma Vivarta Puran,
so in the Brahma Vivarta Puran,
there's a prediction that for 10,000 years there'll be a golden period.
There's a prediction that for 10,000 years there will be a golden period.
very easy for people to get back to Golok Vrindavan.
where it will be very easy for people to get back to Golok Vrindavan.
And that will be brought in 5,000 years after the Kali Yuga begins.
And that will be brought in 5,000 years after the Kali Yuga begins.
Someone will come and spread the holy name all over the world.
Someone will come and spread the holy name all over the world.
Lord Chaitanya, he came 4,500 years after Kali Yuga.
So Lord Chaitanya came 4,500 years after the Kali Yuga.
And in the Chaitanya Mongol, he predicted that he'll preach all over India.
And in the Chaitanya Mongol, it's predicted that he will preach all over India.
Then he'll send a devotee, a Senapati Bhakta,
And then he will send a devotee, a Senapati Bhakta,
who will spread the message of Krishna consciousness
who will spread the message of Krishna consciousness
to the rest of the world.
to the rest of the world.
So His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami,
So His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami,
appears to be the person that they're talking about.
appears to be the person that they are talking about.
Because he was the first to spread the Harinam all over the world.
Because he was the first to spread the Harinam all over the world.
He went to every continent.
He went to every continent.
And even subsequently, and no one who went to every continent.
And even subsequently, there's no one who went to every continent
That's not his follower.
that is not his follower.
So you're all very fortunate. You can take out Lord Chaitanya's mercy and also become a follower of Srila Prabhupada.
So you're all very fortunate that you can take up Lord Chaitanya's mercy and also be a follower of Srila Prabhupada.
So nice, right? So we are fortunate. We have the facility. So now change your dance steps towards Krishna. Okay, we can take up some questions if someone has. If no one has any question, then we will please go over invocation and Isopanishad 1 and 2 and 3. And also read 4 for next week. Asha Mataji.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
I want to know, you said something about Atma Sambhavita.
Yes.
Is it two types something? I didn't follow that.
The killer of the soul. We were talking about the killer of the soul.
Atma Sambhavita.
Yeah. If all these facilities, a human being does not fully utilize his life for self-realization, he must be considered as Atmaha or killer of the soul.
Okay. Was clear that is destined to enter the darkest. Now, darkest, if even if he is following to reach the goal, still will he, if he doesn't reach the destination, then does he go in the darkest region of ignorance to suffer, or he gets some liberation?
We spoke about it, right? That a person who enters the path of self-realization. 1 second. We spoke about it, that the person...
Where does he go next life? Okay.
Person who enters upon the path of self-realization
But
does not complete the process.
Despite having sincerely tried to realize his relationship with God and is given a chance to appear in family of Sushi and Srimati. Yes, Mataji, thank you.
Okay.
It was a little confusing that time.
Okay, sorry.
Hare Krishna.
Bimla Mataji. Then
Krishna
Vasant.
Mataji, from what I understood is if you have started the good path, but you haven't completed it, then you are born in a Suchi or Srimati, family. Am I right? Then there are two more categories where, if you don't do what you have to do, you go into the Asura and Hellish planet. What's the difference between these two?
Yeah, so that's Prabhupada. I was on same confusion, but then I just got it clarified. He says here, Asurya is a planet where there are lower living entities. He says,
You mean like animals?
Yes, and hellish planet is a place where our a person who was very demoniac in their life, when they die, the body is dead.
Mhm.
This body is dead. Now their mind, intelligence, and false ego, which is covering the soul, the mind goes, and intelligence goes, and then the false ego goes and then suffers.
Okay,
For
okay.
example, if somebody is very, very used to drinking liquor, a drunkard,
Mhm.
and does not think of Krishna, and that's what they are in, they are embracing mode of ignorance all their life. So when they die, and they die in that ignorance, not hearing about Krishna's pastimes and not giving any effort. So when they die, their mind, intelligence, and false ego is brought to a hellish planet where they have to drink hot lava. The mind suffers.
Okay.
Okay, there's hellish planets
All
are
right.
described in Srimad Bhagavatam. I showed you all these hellish planets. This one, right? So they're drinking, and then they're brought to a planet where they have to drink the hot lava. Or if somebody is very attached to Krishna, I always do this. Sorry.
So do they not come out of it, or they stay there forever?
They come out of it, and then they come back to the evolutionary cycle, and then come to the human form, and then they have given chance again. This is the
So they start
purification.
the 8 million cycle again, you mean?
Depends. I don't know. Depends. Because from
Okay.
hell, I think from hell they come to the animal life, and then they come to the human life. I don't know. Depends. I think you have to go back and read. But if somebody is very
Okay.
attached to the illicit relationships, then they're taken to the planet where they have to embrace the fire image of opposite gender. Somebody is
Okay,
very
okay.
attached to eating.
Yeah.
In America, or even in UK, you must have some noises there. You must have.
It's not that mine. It's not mine.
So yeah, no problem. So in UK, you must have seen America. I've seen that live crabs are sold here, or live lobsters are sold here, right? So these people who are very
Yes.
addicted to eating that, then they are taken to a planet where they have boiled in hot oil.
Really?
This is
Mm.
subtle body. Or if somebody is very much attached to cheating, then the hellish planet they are taken where their body is burnt with hot irons. So all these things are given in Srimad Bhagavatam. I wanted to
Yeah.
read last night.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Vasant Kumar Prabhu.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, in today's purport, when we are reading, somewhere we have read that the human form of life is more important than animal life.
Ah.
But don't you think, according to the nature and law of God, all lives are equal? Why that special preference is given to humans? I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, so that's yes. Who is going to answer this? Sharmila Mataji, can you answer this question?
Hare Krishna. The main difference between animals and human beings is the intelligence part, right? So I think we can question ourselves why we are born and why am I suffering in this world. I think animal doesn't have this intelligence to think. So we must utilize this for self-realizing and go back to Godhead. That should be our goal in life. Whereas animals are not able to. You can elaborate, Mataji.
Very nice. She gave a very nice principle that's given in this particular verse. It's not that the question that we are not saying that go and kill animal because they are less important. We are not saying that. Okay, what the scriptures are saying that why is one living entity in a human form of life, and why is another living entity in an animal form of life, and what is the function of that now? For example, if there is a IAS officer is also a human being, right?
Yes.
But why are they given so many facilities? Why a common person on the road not given so many facilities? Under the eye of government, everyone should be equal. Why is that happening? What is your explanation?
Because of the type of work that the IAS officer is doing.
Correct. Very nice. So because of the responsibility of the work that one has to execute. Same way that this life is very important. My life as my human body is very important for my soul, because I can decide what I want to do next. A dog cannot decide. A dog's tongue cannot chant Hare Krishna. My tongue can. Okay.
Thanks, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Priyadarshini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I just wanted to know, how do we know when we have completely realized God?
You see, that Prabhupada answered, when we eat food, we don't have to ask our neighbor, right? That is my stomach full. Do I need to eat any more? Right?
Yeah.
So we get that satisfaction. So when we eat, two things happen according to the scriptures. When we eat, then our hunger is satisfied and our body regains its strength. We don't feel weak anymore. Like that, when I am on the path of Krishna consciousness, I will know that I am happy. Why am I happy? Is because I watched a good movie, or because I wore a very nice dress, or because I bought so much jewelry, or because I went to this restaurant? No, I am happy because I was able to chant Hare Krishna. I'm so happy. So that itself is the indicator that you are on the right path.
But 100% success, Mataji, when do we get it?
Mataji, that's a gift from Krishna. So Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti is Krishna's gift. That Krishna decides. That Krishna gives a gift. Here you go.
We're not sure that we are going to get it in this lifetime.
No, we are sure. No, we are not sure of anything on our own accord. We cannot do anything, but we are sure on the accord of the acharyas. On the accord of the acharyas, if we follow the order, Prabhupada says, whoever is chanting 16 rounds every day, following 4 regulatory principles, I am going to open the back door of Goloka Vrindavan and take you there. He said this. He made this proclamation. And we learned who Prabhupada is. Prabhupada is not an ordinary person. Don't be a mudha. Like Krishna was walking on the planet and people were thinking, I'm a human being, he's also a human being. Prabhupada is a messenger of God.
It's divine.
He is saying it. He's bringing the message. Let's say that Narendra Modi's messenger comes to your house and says, Priyadarshini Mataji, Mr. Modi wants to meet you tomorrow. Even though it's not Mr. Modi telling you, but you are still sure that this message is correct, right?
Yeah.
Because this message is brought by his bona fide messenger.
Divine messenger. Yeah.
Like that, when Prabhupada says he's a bona fide messenger, when he's saying it, we must accept it. And this principle on Bhava Bhakti platform is explained further in Nectar of Devotion as Asha Bandha. This principle is called as Asha Bandha. Asha Bandha means very, very hopeful. I am very, very hopeful. I know I have no qualification, but on account of my practice given by the Shastras, I will be successful because Prabhupada said it. There are 9 things which happen when one practices devotional service, and one of them is Asha Bandha. There are 9 symptomatic changes, and one of them is I'm very, very hopeful. Otherwise, what hope we have? We are relying on the mind then. We are on the mind business.
Yes,
a mind level. That no, this is not going to happen. No, this is not going to happen. Get out of that business.
So 16 rounds, very compulsory, Mataji. 16 rounds. 16 malas a day.
Mataji. Our disease is so intense that the prescription is this. Can you hear me?
So it's a must. It's a must, Mataji.
If I want to go to Goloka Vrindavan, then that is the must, because I have to cure my disease of material illness. Let's say you go to a doctor and the doctor says, take this medicine 3 times a day. You cannot say 3 times a day is a must. Can I take half a time? Can I take half a tablet?
That's right. Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Thank you very much. Yes, Mataji. Thank Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Yes, Smita Mataji. I do want to say one thing. Mataji, 1 second, if I may say something. You know, one very senior devotee, her name is Rajalila Mataji. She gave class one time and she said that you should take these classes and these interactions as self-care. This is your time for taking care of yourself. That you're hearing about Krishna, chanting about Krishna, discussing about Krishna. That's a time of self-care. I think we all feel happy. I feel very happy. I am not a bona fide person. But just repeating Prabhupada's words brings happiness, right? In everyone's heart. Some sort of happiness is there, which is not there after the class is over. Yes,
Mataji,
Smita Mataji.
it brings tears, Mataji. Seeing Prabhupada brings tears to your eyes, Mataji.
Okay, very nice. Yes, Smita Mataji.
Mataji, 9 diplomatic changes you said. One is Asha Patta, but you have to tell me all 9 now.
Oh, no. Mataji, I'm just giving you a glimpse of the PhD. PhD of Krishna consciousness. So, Nectar of Devotion is a book. I can tell you the chapter. There are 9 things that happen that once somebody is becoming Krishna conscious and very hopeful. And the other thing that happens is that they don't want to lose even small amount of time. They're very, very eager to use the time in Krishna's service. They don't like to sleep. An example given is of Srila Prabhupada, that Prabhupada, when he was going out for preaching, my Guru Maharaj was giving this example. He would chant his Gayatri very fast. And then he would just barge out of the house. He would just barge out. He will not wait for anyone. If his disciples are still chanting, it's there. He doesn't wait. He doesn't wait even one moment waiting for anyone. He's just independent. So that's one other thing. I can share the chapter with you. Nectar of Devotion, I think it's chapter 18 I read. Krishna. Spontaneous loving devotional service for the aesthetic love. Character of one in aesthetic love. 18th chapter.
Yeah,
Let's
I'll
see.
read. Thank you,
Miss
Mataji.
Mataji, these are the things. He's always
I'll read
anxious.
it.
Okay,
I'll
let me
read
read it now. Okay, let me just read it one time. He's always anxious to utilize his time in devotional service of the Lord. He does not like to be idle. He wants service always, 24 hours a day without deviation. Second, he's always reserved and perseverant. Third, he's always detached from all material attraction. Fourth, he does not belong to any material respect. He does not long for any material respect in return for his activities. Fifth, he's always certain that Krishna will bestow his cause, his mercy upon him. This is Asha Bandha. Sixth, he's always eager to serve the Lord faithfully. Seventh, he's very much attached to the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Eighth, he's always eager to describe the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Ninth, he's very pleased to live in a place where the Lord's pastime are performed, Mathura, Vrindavan, and Dwarka. Okay, that's chapter 18 of Nectar of Devotion.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Bimla Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. My question is, when I heard that in our 24-hour day, we have to spend 8 hours work, 8 hours to pray, to do chanting and everything, and 8 hours of sleep. I sleep less first, and also I don't chant the 16, but I do a lot of reading, and I watch a lot of YouTubes. I do a lot of other things which make about 8 hours. But does it count, or we should just sit down and do chanting? Because because like sitting, following the courses, at least it takes me about 4 hours every day already.
Mataji, these recommendations are given to accommodate everyone to practice Krishna consciousness. But the real principle is given by the acharyas. I am not making this up. This is Prabhupada has given this principle. Then do this and this will happen. Do this and this will happen. Okay, so the principle cannot be changed. I cannot say that, okay, Prabhupada has made modifications for some devotees. I was reading the other day that one cook was there in Radha Shams in the temple in Vrindavan. That cook, he used to cook for the deities about 12 hours a day. Worship, deity worship. He was so much doing. And he was always chanting. So that person, Prabhupada said, you may chant less than 16 rounds. But those are exceptions. In general, Prabhupada has said, I'll tell you more now. In general, 16 rounds of chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra on the beads, number 1. Number 2, following the 4 regulatory principles. Number 3, reading my books for 1.5 hours every day. He has said this.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about you. I see you a lot, doing those lectures and working. I don't know how you manage your time, because if you have to chant 16 round and everything, I find it really appreciating how you're doing it.
But thank you so much for appreciating me. But it's just I don't know myself. I don't know. Not that I'm perfect. There's so many imperfections. Don't try to follow me. But You can take some inspiration if you want, and I'm happy if I can inspire, but don't try to follow
Exactly.
me because I am not perfect. I have so many imperfections and I know where they are. But I don't see a problem in chanting 16 rounds. I actually chant more than 16, but I don't see a problem even one day by Krishna's grace so far. One can fall down anytime, but so far I don't.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, so please read, please memorize invocation and mantra 1. Please read this again. We will share the slides. Please don't go on accumulating slides and chapters and books. Please read them. Then only you will be able to derive any real benefit. Okay, so we can